All right, Pot of Gold, welcome back. I'm Brett. I'm here with Mike Grant, the intern, behind the glass in an undisclosed location. LSU goes into Auburn, sneaks out a victory 21-17, maybe not as easy as we anticipated. A lot to talk about. Tennessee right around the corner, 11 a.m. kick, closer than you think. Hit us up on Twitter at potofgold at gmail.com, patreon.com/gold, at gold mike for fire takes. Getting a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of likes these days.
Are you monitoring that shit?
No, I don't. I swear to God, your tweets don't like come up in my feed.
Yeah, it's because
When
you have them muted.
maybe, but when I get on my computer, it doesn't do it sorts by like popular and not like chronological. And you're always like first on the list. It's like, look at this
Insane.
sick tweet Gold Mike posted. And I'm like, oh, let me give that a little like and a retweet.
Yeah, no, that was honestly a tweet today. You're referring to like my just word vomit of just like massive crazy thoughts after my rewatch. That's
Yeah.
basically all it was. Like I know typically you toss it over to me for kind of a feedback of what the vibe is. The vibe is like a replay vibe, man. I just went to a deep dive on the replay. I dove into some Tennessee versus Florida. Watched a lot of that game. I'm feeling good. Good victory. I just want to put that out there. It was a sloppy win, but a win is a win is a win is a win. And right now, that's what this team needs is fucking W's, and we got it done.
Look, normally there's a a notes app that gets passed around, and we'll call it maybe there's like 10 bullet points of like just don't forget. Here's something, don't forget Koi to mention Koi more. It's like one of those things where it's like when we get in the heat of the pod, sometimes you just forget to bring things up. So Mike sends this like, hey guys, here's the notes for the Auburn game. And I mean,
It's play by play.
there's 35 notes a half. I mean, it
Yeah,
is
it was
literally
my bad that it wasn't like your typical notes. I should have prefaced the message with this is play by play.
it would be a 6-hour pod if we covered everything on your list, is all I'm saying. I loved it. It's hilarious. It just made me laugh when I opened it up. Normally, it's just like a few different, like, let's make fun of Bill Polian. Let's make sure we do this.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
this one is just like, it feels like the game log.
What's up, Otis? Otis Willis, what's good, fellas? What's
Oh, I
good
need
is
to open the
it's a good
chat.
victory, my friend. It's a good victory, and it's Tennessee week. First top 10 team we're playing, the best team we've played all season. Coming up Saturday, we're gonna get to Tennessee, but we're
And
feeling good after this
LSU,
victory.
LSU dips their toe back in the top 25 this week.
Top 2-5, baby. Like Brian Kelly said, if we start winning some games, get in the top 10, we're not worried about the 11 o'clock kicks anymore because we want to be prime time. We're working our way into that. Um, Absolutely, with the stretch that's ahead of us, rankings are going to sort themselves out. And a little peek ahead, not this weekend coming up, but my God, dude, week seven's slate. Like
Mike cannot get over week 7.
week 7, I can't get over it. I can't get over it. And I hate that I followed that my like good tweet up with that because I feel like the week 7 tweet needed some more life, but it needed probably like a little breather. Maybe tomorrow
Yeah.
would have been the better day or next week. But I think the week 7 slate, dude, like you want to talk about some ranking shifts? That's a chaotic week. Like we're gonna see some massive shifts in the rankings that week. But yeah,
Any
dude.
given Saturday type of weekend. It's a 3 TV type of weekend where every window you're gonna be locked into some, like, high profile, highly ranked games, but I think that's for another time.
I agree. I agree. We're not there yet. This is week 6, and we have a big game. Am I lagging for you guys? Is everything okay?
No. You've been fine for me, in
Okay,
my
I've got the yellow bars for some reason popping up on my connections. Strange, man. Some serious Dahmer streaming going on next door. Uh,
uh
Fuck Bill Polian. If anyone needed the Ari Gold treatment, Lamar Stevens coming in hot. Yeah,
ready.
Polian. Let's get into it. We want to get into this.
So, yeah, I think this can kind of jumpstart the overarching discussion about this, and for me, it's always good to go get a win. It's great to be able to go on the road in the SEC, blah, blah, blah. For me, it sucked because it felt like it felt very similar to sitting there and watching that Florida State game where there was just mistakes. They can't get going. Daniels can't find a receiver. And from that, and every time we do something on special teams, there's a flag coming in and we can't ever get a good return from Jack Bash. Like it just felt like one of those things where it's like, yeah, we came out with a win, good job, but it's nerve wracking going forward into this stretch of games.
It is nerve wracking when it comes to guys, we need to reach our potential. And that's what's frustrating, is because as fans that pay attention to this rebuild, by the way, as fans that pay attention to this rebuild, we need to understand that we are trying to reach this team in particular, their potential. And we're not there yet. We have not reached this team's potential. And that's what's frustrating for LSU fans, is we know this is not a playoff team. We know this is not a team competing for any type of championships, even the SEC. But we're still not where we feel like this team is capable of being. We're seeing it on the defensive side of the football, though. Like we're seeing progress every week in some area. Special teams, we're seeing progress with personnel, but the execution has not been on the same pace.
I just
Offensively,
can't take it anymore, Michael. I can't take kick catch interference. I can't take block in the back. I can't take hold. Like it's every
don't get
time,
it's
and
inexcusable. It's
it
inexcusable.
it keeps almost biting us in the ass, and it's like when you have an offense that's not just ready to drive the ball down the field all day, like those 10, 15 yards are taking back a 20-yard return to 10 yards behind. Like that is massive. That switches field. Like it's been frustrating.
Well, the Auburn series is always looked at as chaos, crazy. It was very well documented on every single time somebody announced something about Auburn. It's a crazy week, crazy things happen. But it's a game that's dominated with momentum shifts. And momentum shifts are not just big turnovers, but they're drive-killing penalties. They're miscommunication, missed assignments, flags. Like there's certain little things in every single one of these Auburn games that you're always like, damn, that's gonna matter. Like that fucking shit is gonna matter. Like Nussmeier goes in, right? Like, oh, here we go. We get Nuss to take a shot. False start. Like right out of the gate, there's
Yes.
procedural penalty, backs you up. So you're backed up towards your own end zone now. Now Nuss is shitting his pants. You got shit going all the way down his leg now. He's got to depend on Josh Williams, who honestly is Mr. Reliable right now. I mean, he's squirting through the A gap.
Yeah, I mean, and so what do you do when you're Nussmeier? You're like, oh, well, I'll throw it to the top 10 pick. No. But it's
Right.
like, oh, okay, I'll throw it to the other guy who's probably going to be drafted pretty high.
Drop.
No. And it's
Right.
just like,
So he's scared shitless and he throws it away, and Brian Kelly eats him alive. But the point of that is just an example of we are shooting ourselves in the foot way too many times. We're lucky we won this game for many reasons, but one of which is that we literally gave Auburn many opportunities to win this game, not only win, but put it away early. And defense did not allow that. Defense
and
said, no, sir.
well, that's the crazy thing. I mean, we're going to talk a lot about LSU shooting themselves in the foot, but like if you're an Auburn fan, you feel like you just handed this game to LSU. It's like the muffed punt, the strip sack. Like obviously, I get the strip sack, but it's like if you're an Auburn fan, you're like, oh my god, if these 3 plays don't happen, we win this game easily. Type of feel. Auburn almost gets off the field on 3rd and 10 or whatever with 2 minutes left in the half, but there was the hands to the face on Will Campbell. That's
Yep.
another one that was just like that was almost we're going to punt to Auburn and they're going to have a good chance to at least kick a field goal before half. LSU is able to get out and score right before half and make that thing a ball game. But there was just so many times that it could have easily kind of avalanched in Auburn's way, where it's like, yeah, great, LSU's a good second half team. They can play from behind, but you're too far behind.
There was a point in the game, and it's in my book that I wrote somewhere. But
I'll find it. Give me a few minutes.
it was a point in the game where Auburn was backed up towards their end zone, and they go ahead and they decide to go for it. And actually, we end up stopping them. There was a penalty. There was a pass interference. I think we actually had that interception, and they called a holding call on the defense, gave them the ball back. They converted,
That's right.
but we ended up stopping them. Like, and that's the thing. Every time it looked like they had life, we would come up with another huge stop or forced a punt or forced a turnover.
A missed
Defense
field goal
answered.
made them go for it on 4th down a few times. Like, yeah, I mean, the defense definitely showed up.
The defense showed up at every level Defensive line, I mean, Wingo and Roy have both played lights out. Roy's stepping up big time this week, being that leader that he needs to be in place of Mason Smith. Defensive ends, BJ Ojolari, I mean, the strides on this guy, like his arms are just,
Yeah.
it's like everything. It looks like a damn robot out there.
Well,
Incredible.
before you say Harold Perkins, before we say his name,
I
we're
was going to
10
say
minutes
Baskerville.
in. We're 10 minutes in. Would you like to do the weekly segment for Mason Smith, or would you like me to?
Go for it.
It really sucks watching this and thinking about Mason Smith on this defense. Okay, linebackers.
Yeah, so moving on to the linebackers, right out the gate, a guy that he gets overshadowed by BJ and Harold Perkins. Like Baskerville is all over the field, and he is always sure tackling.
He's kind of that guy that we thought he was going to be coming out of high school, where we were like, this dude's just going to be everywhere making tackles, and it didn't happen. Like, you know, a lot of turnover with coaching, and it was still, you would feel like he's coming around and then take steps back. Like, he's here. He's a player.
And he's good in coverage. That's what's weird about it, is that Baskerville is, he reminds me of like Baskerville and Perkins are very much kind of like a young Devin White and a Ryan Baker, like just thumpers, good, strong tacklers with a lot of speed. But all of a sudden, like both of those cats can drop into coverage and they'll pick you off. Like there was a couple times, yeah, beautiful picture right there for those watching on YouTube of Harold Perkins high pointing the ball, just a phenomenal interception. But you go back and look at Baskerville, one, forcing that interception in the face of Coy Moore, just absolutely toying with the dude. He was
what a
Coy.
great sentence. Say that sentence again.
Absolutely
in the face of
Coy. Baskerville. No, but he almost had a couple picks himself dropping into coverage. Like he is inches. So did BJ Ojolari. BJ tipped that ball that they completed down the sideline, but he actually was, I don't know, inches away from palming that thing.
That was pretty impressive athleticism. Yeah. And we kind of got into the text discussion while watching the game. Watching Harold Perkins, it reminds you so much of watching a Devin White.
I know you got thrown off by that chat, huh? My bad.
Yeah, the only difference is, no, I was trying to come up with never mind. The only difference is it feels like Harold Perkins was like born to be a linebacker, whereas like Devin White at LSU was always incredible, always awesome, but it kind of had that little bit of feel of like we have this running back at linebacker, whereas like Harold Perkins looks like he's been a linebacker since he was 4 years old, form tackling. And it's like, wait till Moffitt, the all-time wait till Moffitt gets his hands on him guy.
Harold Perkins is exactly what everybody in the country expected Dylan Moses to be. That's what Harold Perkins is walking in at linebacker at LSU compared to Alabama. And like, we got that guy. We got a guy that literally, and you can see he's excited. That's what I love about watching Harold Perkins. When he gets to the sideline, like he is chest bumping all the seniors. He's all up with Ali Gay. Like he is part of that defense, and he's becoming a staple of that defense with these different packages. Does he make mistakes? Sure. But he's a true freshman, and his athleticism has stepped up and overcome some of those mental mistakes.
Well, that's the thing. If you're gonna make mistakes at 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, no, I agree. And he's playing lights out. He's playing fast and physical. And then you got your rotation, though. You got your rotation of Greg Penn, who is also coming of his own. Like he is somebody that looked great in the spring game, little suspect against Florida State at times. He gets rotated, but the last couple times he's been in the game, like he has stepped it up physically and intensity. Like he's quick to the ball. He's got a good closing speed, and he's a big body. He's playing very well. And then you rotate Weeks and the captain, Mike Jones, a great leader on the team who is humbly accepting his role. And it looks like it's playing a good part. When he comes in, fresh legs on that outside linebacker position, he's making tackles. So that linebacker crew, that rotation right now is
Savion Jones sneaking in
at that jack
forming when he's getting the opportunity. It's like things like that are what get me like really excited. It's like
35 is making noise. 35
is awesome that Ojolari is good and all these guys, but to see some of these younger guys that you know are going to be impact players here in the future at LSU being able to like step in and hold their own, it's been really cool to see.
It is really great to see, and that rotation at linebacker is very reminiscent of kind of the experiments that were going on in the offensive line. We are now 5 weeks in where, week 1, damn, linebackers need some work. Damn, offensive line needs some work. But they're going to get it together because they're new. They need to mesh, and we need to find that right rotation, those right starters. We now have figured it out, and you see the same type of reflection on the offensive line, where these guys are now in unison, and have really put the weight of the offense on their shoulders. Where, hey, Jaden Daniels is just not feeling it tonight. He doesn't have it tonight to push this ball down the field and take risks. We need to run the football, and everyone in the country right now knows it. But guess what? We're going to nut up and take care of business. And that's what our offensive line has been doing right now. And they've been really carrying us. Can we do that the whole season? Hell no. That we
Yeah.
have to step up. Our receivers are not innocent in this trial either, by the way. Like, whenever you do have the opportunity to pull in one of these rare passes, make the damn catch.
Yeah, you gotta be able to catch the ball, and it's a little worrisome. It kinda gives you a little worry when you think about that the offensive line is probably your most known quantity right now on the offense, whereas, we if I think we would have all signed up for the line play we got last night for this entire season. It's like you look at the stats from this game and you would think like, "Oh, man, the O-line still has just not really figured it out." Now, I thought the O-line played pretty good. Like, the Emery fumble was obviously a mishap on the offensive line, and, they didn't play perfect all day. I know Emery Jones got beat on one of the sacks that kind of killed a drive, but it's like, I know
That's
what
going to
I'm
happen.
getting from them. I know
Right.
what I'm getting, and it's like we still can't figure out how to get the ball to receivers. We're kinda struggling getting the ball. We have a great offense if you wanna get the ball to Mason Taylor.
Yeah. And see, that's where I guess the direction of this episode is going to go when it comes to our offensive woes. We all know Jaden Daniels and the receivers are not working out right now, and I know a lot of people want to go straight to Den Brock. And honestly, middle of the game, I was one of those people. I even tweeted out that I want Ensminger, but there's a point in the game though that you have to step back and realize protection's there. The receivers are breaking open. He has time. What are we doing checking down to the tight end every time? Jaden is uncomfortable. Okay. And he's uncomfortable pushing the ball down the field in anticipation of a receiver breaking free. So let's get away from it. Let's adjust it. Let's make our offense, like, we're trying so hard to fit this personnel into a basic vanilla system that'll continue to evolve and build on each other, but we still have yet to be in sync with the basics. And so I feel like the experiment has to be over. And I don't mean that personnel wise, I mean that schematically. Like, we
Yeah.
have to start adjusting how we approach getting these guys the football, because that's all we got right now. Let's throw a bubble screen. All right. Let's throw a slant. And if they drop it, guess what? Let's come back to it again the next series. Let's not abandon it. Let's keep trying, because eventually one of these is going to take it to the house. I mean, it doesn't have to just be Booty. It can be Brian Thomas. He can take it to the house. He's going to have to catch the damn ball, though. That's the problem, is when one weak link decides to step up, you can't have another link in that chain decide to be weak. And that's what's happening with this offense, skill position wise. The bright side of that, though, is that this running back crew has answered the call. Even though they're not amazingly talented, we don't have a Fournette, a Geis, a Clyde. Emery is getting better with his reps. The most productive one of them all didn't even play Saturday. And then you've got Mr. Consistent and Reliable with Williams. He's done a really good job of securing the football, putting his nose down, getting positive yardage. Is he going to break it for 100 yards? No. But is he going to get you a first down when the game's on the line? Quite possibly. And that's big.
You need 3 yards, and everyone in the building knows exactly what play you're running, and he went and got it.
Absolutely. I think that's
No,
where we're going. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, I think you might even still be a week or 2 early, but I think you were absolutely spot on with the Jaden Daniels not throwing guys open and not really anticipating the breaking of the routes, because I like you said, I was ready to just, like, not have Denbrock on the flight home. But if you go back, and ESPN has the sky cam of the game, you can watch the whole game from it. And it's just like there's so many times where you're just like, dude, if you stare at this guy for another tenth of a second or just throw it and trust that he's gonna break, like we have 20 yards down the field. And it's just so strange to me. It feels like we're just so worried. He's so worried, not we as a team, to like throw an interception where
Yeah.
Brian Kelly's like trying to do anything to say, let's push the ball down the field. It just like it's just so strange to me because we're sitting in your living room 2 weeks ago watching Jaden Daniels highlights from Arizona State, where it's just we're just gonna hang back here and
Guilty.
let the
We
ball
did do
loose.
that. Yeah.
We did do that, and it's like, it just doesn't feel like it's the same guy, and it's like, I don't know if it's because we threw too many picks and, the crowd or the fan base turned on us at Arizona State.
No, it's a Pac-12 quarterback that's coming into his own against SEC defenses, and he doesn't trust himself. For whatever reason, he doesn't trust himself. And
Yeah.
I think that can be coached. That's why I still have hope. I think Jaden Daniels is a very capable quarterback because we've seen it happen before when he's confident. I just think
But
he
if
just
this is what we're gonna get, we need to do the Chip Kelly zone read offense and just zone read 60% of the time.
100% agree. And these coaches, I hope, understand that. And I think they do. I mean, these guys are professionals. They've been doing it for since as long as we've been alive. They understand that. I I'm holding out hope that what they think is going to happen is that it will click for Jaden Daniels. I think they thought it was going to happen sooner.
Yes.
Here we go against Tennessee. Is it going to click against Tennessee where you just have to fucking swallow your pill and pull the trigger because the guys are open? The protection is there. You have to take advantage of it. And our margin for error is so small with this team because we are limited with depth. We are limited with talent in some areas. So Brian Kelly knows every opportunity we have, we need to make the catch. We need to pull the trigger, and we have to do it when the time is right. And I feel like last week or a couple days ago, Brian Kelly felt like the time is now. We need to see it now. And that's why you could see the frustration on Brian Kelly's face. It was the drive where we were moving the ball pretty well. And Jaden Daniels, he did not pull the trigger. I know we've been saying that term a lot, but it's true. He dropped back in the pocket, perfect protection, scans left, scans middle, scans right, rolls out right, panics a little bit, goes out of bounds. I forgot exactly what happened. I think he tried to rip it down the sideline. But Brian Kelly's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, you could see it just erupt. He erupted with frustration because his patience were done. Like, dude,
And
they are open. Fucking take the shot. And I think he even said that. Take the fucking shot. And he followed that up with a nice little pass to Emory after it took it down to the 2-yard line.
Well, but like right behind Brian Kelly is Bill Polian. Like, yeah, I know. Come on. What are we doing? Come on.
What'd you call him?
He's the most assistant to the regional manager vibes ever.
Like the car salesman's son.
Yeah.
Like the owner of a car dealership. Yeah.
And he's in on every negotiation. Like, no, I don't know that we're going to be able to do that. And the dad's like, God damn it, shut up. It's like, that's just how I feel. Look, Polian, recruiting coordinator, whatever. I'm sure he's a good coach. He has this feel, this vibe about him where he's got to make sure everyone knows that like he's doing something or he's there. Like,
well, he's always letting
perfect
Kelly
example
know,
is, like 4 seconds after the game, he's running up and like making sure he can shake Brian Kelly's hand.
well, because besides Jaden Daniels, like the story of every game so far has been, what the fuck is Polian doing with our special teams? So he's got to make it known that, like, hey, he's boys with BK. It's going to take a lot for him to be on the chopping block. I think and he's also like very informative to Brian Kelly on the sideline. There was one penalty where I think it was Colby Fields, 25, got called for a block in the back, but they actually called it on Sage Ryan. And Brian Kelly was headhunting Sage Ryan. Polian graciously stepped in between the two and said, Coach, it was Colby. It was Fields. It was 25. It wasn't it. Like he's the little guy that wants to make sure Brian Kelly, I'm here for you, Coach.
I'm just telling you, I feel like I'm very close to getting sick of he's the my bad guy, where it's like, my bad. I know I threw that bad pass. Like, I know I threw it out of bounds. That's my bad. And it's like, okay, cool. But when it happens 25 fucking times, it's like, no, that's on me next time. Like, I got you. It's like, I can't, no, I'm losing my patience with it. And then the yellow hat, it just irks me.
Too much. I don't like the yellow hat. And that's the problem, is it doesn't even look gold. When you stand out alone with the gold hat, it becomes a yellow hat.
Yes, and then you got Brian Kelly, who's, buttoned up to the as high as humanly possible, and it's like, when it's not going good, it's not a good look. It's just not.
I kind of like the look now.
I'm
Now
not
that you
saying I
pointed it
hate the
out,
look. I'm just telling you, he gets a little glazed, he's not used to the humidity, so he's getting a little bit of, like, this glistening face sweat, and it's just he's all the way
yeah,
up to his
it's okay.
neck.
Well, you know
It's a
what?
bad look when it's
It's a
not
Porky
going
Pig
well.
look, all right? It's a Porky Pig, like, and that's the
Yeah, it's
problem.
like
He's very pink. You can let that one simmer. Let's
um, I don't know. Look, I'm all in on the Brian Kelly train. And speaking of that, look, there's the DMs get a little active during the game, and sometimes
Oh,
it
really?
turns into, yeah, there's some people that start getting a little fiery, and it's almost like the pitchforks of like, if we do this again, fire
Oh, I
everyone.
know,
And
I know.
it's like, guys, I'm with you with the frustration, but, like, that part's over. Like, we're signed our deal here. It feel like a Texas A&M fan if you must, that you're just riding this Jimbo train until it runs out. But, like, we're just gonna have to hope that, like, yeah, maybe we did think that the penalties and all these, like, mental errors were gonna go away immediately, but that's just not the world we're living in. And so we're just gonna have to ride this roller coaster out, boys.
And honestly, dude, I feel really good about where we are.
I
I
do
really
too.
do. I really do. Like in this, and I look at this as I'm fully behind the Brian Kelly hire. I'm fully behind what he's going to do with this program. And honestly, we're right on pace with a rebuild of this type of program. I don't want to see that, Grant. Come on now.
He
That's
did unbutton right there, though. But look, he's
he's a
got a
pouty
glisten
face,
to
sweaty
him.
pig.
Yeah.
Grant, explain yourself.
Look, I couldn't be happier with
Explain
where
yourself.
Brian Kelly has brought this program in terms of.
Uh,
He's not going to do
Okay,
it.
go ahead, Grant.
No, go
All right.
ahead.
So, no, I couldn't be happier in terms of, like, the culture and how these dudes fight and how well they're conditioned. Like, I don't know that I've ever watched an LSU team that just keeps getting punched in the face and coming back for more and fighting their ass off. It frustrates me a little bit that it's like the offense it feels so far behind that
Because
we
we know what they're
constantly
capable of
and
individually.
and constantly kill ourselves with penalties and stuff. That's what I thought that would be a little better at this point.
Yes.
But
I agree with that.
culture-wise and everything, I'm couldn't be happier.
I agree with that. But I think what we need to, and I'm not saying you and I'm talking about the people that are super
We
frustrated with like, fuck, we hired Brian Kelly and we can't beat Florida State. Like the people like that are. You have to remember what this season was meant for. The season was a culture change. It was not about wins and losses. It was about gutting the culture that has been so toxic, and it truly has been toxic. And if you don't understand how toxic it was, you just don't get it. You don't need to worry about this season right now, because this season is about changing that culture, changing the attitude of the team, and teaching these kids what it takes to win. Outside of football, off of the Saturday night. Like it takes the nutrition, the studying your playbook, going to class, like those type of things. That's what Brian Kelly is instilling. And that attitude is what is translating to these late fourth quarter type of runaway victories, right? Where we secure the second halves. It's because of dedication and effort. And that is something that comes with a lot of time. And I see that progress being made with this team. Now, does the offense need to fucking start moving the football and scoring points because we have sick talent everywhere? Absolutely. Do I feel like we're putting our players in positions to make that happen? I do. They're not executing properly. Do I feel like it might be time now, approaching the Tennessee game, almost to the midway point of the season already, which is crazy to talk about, that we need to maybe adjust our approach to the game plans? Probably so. And I think that's what this week is about. Either shit or get off the pot. And I think that's what we have to figure out with Jaden Daniels. But fingers crossed, I do feel like at some point this season, I don't know if it'll be this Saturday, but at some point this season, we will sit back and look at each other and say, he got it. It's on.
Yep.
Like the light bulb just flipped. The switch has been flipped. We're rolling now. And when I say rolling, I don't mean that this team's a fucking playoff team, but I feel like we have still yet to reach our potential, but I feel like we are in the right direction in every area of this team to get there.
Yeah, and it may not really pertain a ton to the conversation, but I thought it was really interesting to hear, and maybe other coaches have done this in the past that we just haven't heard. And when you have Les and Ed, it doesn't come about. But I really liked hearing Brian Kelly talk about like walk-ons at the TJ Ribs show, talking about like how these walk-ons have to value what they're doing and come in and be perfect in the classroom and do all these other things. And it's like that's just someone that came in with such a overlooking view of how everything's done.
Yeah.
And to just get into the meticulous things of like, I would assume most coaches are like, yeah, we got to get some walk-ons for scout teams and bodies and literally just people to be out there. Hopefully they can get it done. And it's like Brian Kelly's like, no, we have to like actually grind and figure out who we're giving walk-on scholarships to, or walk-on spots.
It's a very much big picture systemic approach. And that's what, one of the questions in the chat right now. We all agree JD is better than Max and Denbrock is better than Pete's. How is Kayshon Boutte shockingly bad this year when he was on pace for the Blitnikoff? It's not as simple as just asking or answering, well, they run a different offense and they got Boutte the ball. It's not that simple. The reason for that is that Brian Kelly is approaching this systemically, where he wants to build an identity of this offense around a phenomenally stout offensive line, major tight end play, and a quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over and can distribute the ball to his playmakers. We have failed at that last part, but he is trying to instill that style of offense, where before it was like, hey guys, let's make our playmakers happy. Let's spread it out and let's do the best we can with what we got. Who gives a shit about rhythm? Who gives a shit about game planning and schemes? It's just get the ball in our playmakers' hands, which is exciting and it's awesome. But you have to have the basics and fundamentals down first before you can reap the benefits of that. And I feel like that is the difference right now. It's not just the play calling. It is the approach to how we want to distribute the football. We haven't got to a point where we're desperate and saying, all right, fuck it, let's just totally scrap this thing. I feel like we're getting to that point, but they're not there yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of easy. LSU Denbrock has to do a better job of scheming Kayshon Boutte open. Kayshon Boutte has to do a better job of catching the ball when his opportunities come and maybe getting open more and giving it a little bit more of that extra. Jaden Daniels has to be willing to sit in there and wait for him to get open. Like, it's a myriad of things. At this point in his career and where we're at as LSU, I don't give a shit. I don't care to cater to him. I
Sure.
hope we can use him and use his talents. But, I would love to give him this pop pass a couple times a game. But it's like, I'm not sitting here saying like crying boo-hoo for Kayshon Boutte. Like, let's get this team where it needs to go. I want Brian Thomas getting the ball more. I want Besh getting the ball more. I want Neighbors to get the ball more. I want them all. I want them all to be able to have these opportunities. Like, I don't really care to have a full-on blitz to be the Kayshon Boutte. Like, we're not Maryland, who just somehow gets one sick wide receiver. We got a bunch. We have to do a better job of getting all of them the ball, not just one.
Exactly. And I feel like what Boutte was able to do with Max Johnson, it was a result of Max Johnson stepping into an offense where he automatically had trust in Boutte. He knew Boutte, and he knew that he could kill him with that slant. And he was comfortable with that play, honestly. And that truly was what happened, Grant?
He just gave you
You said he knew the Boutte.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were gonna.
I know my way around a Boutte too.
I know. Is it have to do with any slants?
Find a new slant.
Didn't go there. My point was, before we got on the case of Boutte and slants, was that Max Johnson depended heavily on almost like the same play, and he relied on that, and he trusted that Boutte was going to come down with that football. That was a one-on-one situation. I feel like Jaden Daniels is trying to follow his coach's lead when they want him to implement an entire offense and read this defense. And now he's caught in a game now of, well, I got to make Boutte happy because I'm on the sideline trying to cheer him on every game and keep him from pouting. So now that's in his head. And then now he's got a trusted receiver in Neighbors. That's kind of like Max and Kayshon from the year before. He's got that
100%.
trusted connection now with Neighbors, but now he's battling. Well, now I have to evenly distribute it or I'm going to have people pouting. Fuck all that. Like, we need to literally focus on what the coaches are preaching to you, trust it, and let it rip. And I feel like it's coming. It's just taking way longer than we wanted. But the guys are getting open and the protection is there, where a couple weeks ago, the protection wasn't there. We are getting better at little things a little bit at a time. It's taking it slower on offense than it has on defense. It's just not all together yet. It will be. I think it will be.
We have to start putting it together faster because the season, I mean, we're already getting close to halfway done.
It's here. Yeah, like in the next handful of games, every single week, it's going to be like, well, we had our opportunity and we didn't come up with a catch, or Jaden didn't trust the guy, didn't see the guy go open. I mean, it's just like that's how we're going to lose football games, because defensively right now, we're keeping our guys alive and keeping us engaged in these games. You had playmakers every single series. You had somebody step up. Every week, you have new players step up. I mean, we talked ad nauseum about Jay Ward and his play. This week, you fast forward, we know Jay Ward's doing his job, but guess who's now stepping up? Greg Brooks is all of a sudden a honey badger, right? Like, he's coming in, creating divots like I'm striking a 5-iron. Like, this guy is making plays. Now, those are chunky divots, behind the ball divots. You got Perkins. Chunks. You got Perkins out here making interceptions. Baskerville's playing lights out. Converse coming up with a good pick. It got called back, but he had a heads-up play on a fumbled punt and a scoop and score. It was called back because you can't score on a scooped, fumbled punt anymore, which is bullshit, by the way.
Can't advance a muff, Mike. It's just the rules old as time.
But you can advance a muff.
No, you can never. Do not. No, I think it's unfair. I think it's kind of shitty and unfair that it took us 36 minutes, almost 37 minutes to mention Greg Brooks, like the most tired Matthew play.
Well, we had to get our offensive bitch fest out the way. So now we can like really soak up these fucking animals on defense.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just what a play. Like, what an absolute play. And then to hear House had kind of like knew that was coming and drew that up. And it's just, I don't know. It's just something that we haven't seen happen in a while, where some dude just went and alphaed it and just ripped the ball away. And like icing on the cake, just chef's kiss of who happened to be the receiver.
Blowjob Coy Moore. Did you see the video of him sucking down a popsicle?
I did, Michael. I did see it. Thank you.
I didn't know if anyone knew about that. Yeah, dude, Coy Moore, just one of those guys, right? Like one of those guys that you want to see that type of shit happen to him. I don't want him to get hurt. I don't want to knock him out for the season.
No, but have him throw a pick and then hand over the game-winning interception. Like, yeah, I'll take that all day.
Love it. Love it. Absolutely love it. But Greg Brooks, a transfer, a Louisiana guy that's hungry, right? That comes in and is really showing out and representing the purple and gold the way it should be done. And I felt like as I was watching this game, you know, defensively, I love the picture, by the way, for those watching the YouTube.
Great pick.
Like, what a just nasty pick. I felt bad for him because he probably couldn't see his celebration, but I'm sure he got to rewatch it. But while I'm watching this game, defensively, we're making big stops. We're doing our job. And I love the way this team is acting disciplined. Now, they need to stop with the penalties, but I'm talking about like the swagginess that we used to have. I all of a sudden like started missing that a little bit. I was like, you know, I hate Elias Ricks. I hate his guts. But every now and then, those stupid like backpedaling into the end zone taunting penalties, they kind of give you a little juice when you're watching the games.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as a coach, I'd fucking hate the kid's guts. I'd freak out.
Yes.
But as a fan, if the game's in hand, like every now and then, it's good to see. My point is, after the game was in hand and after Greg Brooks made a phenomenal play, he goes to the sideline, rips off his helmet, and goes nuts with his boys. That's swag, and that's doing it in a disciplined manner, but celebrating a true game-winning play. And not just, oh, look at me. It is a team win, and Greg Brooks felt that, and he fucking stole it right out of Coy Moore's hands. It was beautiful. A wonderful way to end the game. And then you follow it up with Williams with a hard run to get a first down and truly have no more. Like, with this team, it's never over for me. until the game is over. Just like the field goals. Every time there's an extra point, it's like this could go wrong. Like
This is not the season. This is not the season to go grab a snack at any point.
No, that's why after he picked that ball off, it's like, okay, good. We still have like 2 minutes left. Like we still have to.
I'm trying to figure out how didn't he score on that?
He got fucking crushed.
Yeah, what a great play by Ashford. Ashford
is like a center fielder.
Dude, he was dude, I don't think Brooks saw him.
Seriously, get him and Harold Perkins.
Oh yeah, he's a safety, dude. That dude would be a sick safety.
But before we just keep glossing over Brooks, one quick thing is we said that last week that him and Fouché wanted this one. And what did they do? They came up big when it mattered.
You're right.
You know, they've been here. Right, they've been here enough times to where this didn't phase them, and they excelled in the moment, and it showed.
And it did show. And that's the thing. That's
that attitude.
That's an effort and attitude play.
Yeah, it goes to that attitude. You know, we were talking about a bunch, and it may have been before we started recording, it may have been during, but this offense doesn't have an identity. I mean, there was a time when LSU would go out and throw for 85 yards, and you're just like, yeah, well, we also just kind of ran it down their throat.
Yeah.
That's not really the case now, but this defense has an identity, and it's that we're going to be more physical, we're going to be faster, stronger, and we're going to hit you in the mouth, and it's really, really fun to watch.
Grant just showed the picture. Grant, pull that picture back up for our viewers at home. We've got Greg Brooks getting the game ball by Brian Kelly. I see Jaden Daniels in the corner in his normal position. If you watch LSU Gold or any of like the post-game videos, he's usually kind of hanging out about that area. I did find it interesting. They released a little quick video of Jaden Daniels standing up almost as if he was talking to the team during this time post game in the locker room. I'm curious if any of that footage is going to be on Gold tomorrow, because I'm wondering if he apologized or
like we're good, I'm gonna be better type of thing.
Yeah, like I mean, because obviously we saw him on the sideline during the game, kind of consoling.
Yeah, what a terrible look.
Yeah, you got to stop with Booty. Like Booty doesn't give a shit.
We're like 8 minutes into the game, however long it was. 2, could not have looked less interested. Like it was impossible for Booty. Was thinking about Call of Duty. Like he was trying to get some Fortnite, like some dubs in real quick.
Yeah, he's like, I got it, dude. I'm not gonna fucking blow up. Like I'm not.
You're not gonna throw it to me. It's fine. Look, I want to give Booty credit. Like there is times where like he is trying to block downfield. Like it's not a wave the white towel. That's not what I'm saying at all. But it's like there's a little bit of checked. There's a little bit of
listen,
out
we
there.
talked about it before we struck up, or maybe we recorded this. I can't remember. But when he got fucking smacked on the sideline by Brian Thomas's big ass, and Cam Wire gets a nice chuckle out of it, I thought Booty was done. I thought that was the end of Booty. Booty's going to be like, all right, this is my ticket out of this fucking place.
I have a broken toe. I'm going to prepare for the draft.
Next play, his happy ass trots back out on the field. I applauded the TV. I'm like, there it is. There it is. Maybe he's back.
That's all we need.
That might be the turning point. He needed to get crushed on the sideline.
Yeah, but another crazy camera shot was Todd Harris getting like that solo, like I just fucking fumbled, and it was supposed to be John Emery, and they just like had the camera just staring at Todd Harris's crystal bright clean jersey.
Yeah, the jersey's never been cleaner,
and he's not hurt to just for the everyone.
No, I think Todd Harris just really got into power cleans. I think he was just like, I'm good, just getting this free jam.
Is this a turning point for Emery? Like I hope so. I thought he gained a little. I mean, I know like we needed him when he fumbled. No, I know. But we also I think he put him back out there.
Play.
I know, but the ball.
Secure the ball. He did fumble. Other than the fumble, in terms of his vision and everything else, I thought it was a little, it was a little quicker. It was a little quicker. Yeah, and it was obviously that touchdown was absurd.
Yeah, that was
showed us
Hilliard
what he could do. He showed us flashes of the guy he could be. Now it's like, hey, the rust is off. I have the schedule pulled up, and like I know everyone knows the schedule, but somebody's gonna have to step up, and we're not gonna be able to do this half-ass shit that we've done against Auburn and Mississippi State, because you're playing Tennessee at 11 o'clock. Then the next week you're going at night on the road to Florida to the
which is a harder game in my opinion than the Tennessee game.
I could see that. I can
Florida
at Florida at night.
Yeah.
Like
the coaching thing.
They're better than Auburn. They're better than Mississippi State. Like, I know they've had some losses, but that's a good fucking football team. That's going to be a very tough game for us.
Well, and then no breaks because you got Ole Miss coming in where Ole Miss seems like a team that's getting better on offense. They're, the more they play together, the better they're getting. Auburn's, I don't think, I said Auburn. I meant to say Ole Miss. I know watching that game, it felt like Matt House was gonna scheme up a couple interceptions.
I trust House.
Dart plays how I play NCAA, and it's like, okay, I'm pretty sure this slot guy's going to be open on this play, and I don't give a shit what safeties or linebackers drop or blitz or what. I'm just hammering that ball in there, and like, oh, that linebacker dropped there. Shit, that's an interception.
Yeah, and I know a win's a win is a win, but Kentucky definitely lost that game. Like they had so many opportunities to really take it from Ole Miss, and they did not do that. Now that's kind of been our brand of offense. So if we play that style or our style of offense, yeah, we're not going to beat Ole Miss. But I think
more than any, I feel like that Ole Miss game is going to be one of these Auburn type, like last minute, who gets the interception. The team that looks like it's about to win somehow fucks it up. Like that's how the Ole Miss game is already shaping up.
Yeah, and then you got Bama, like you were heading into, which is they're the best team in the nation right now. So,
well, at least you get a bye. At least you get a bye before that. I mean, going to Auburn, playing Tennessee, playing at Florida, playing Ole Miss is a pretty brutal little month.
Very brutal there. Very brutal. Tennessee early, and you want to drift into a little Tennessee talk.
Yeah, I think this is kind of the perfect time to close the book on Auburn. Look, it's great to come out with a win in 5 years when we look back at, when we're sitting on our third national championship and we're sitting here thinking about the year that started it all. This will just be a number. This will just be a number on the books that LSU won 21-17. And it's like, I'll take that all day. This team's a couple snaps away from being 5-0, and they're a couple more snaps away from being 2-3.
Yeah. I think the how we beat Mississippi State and how we beat Auburn, from the point deficits that we were down to just the effort and the attitude, the physicality of all 4 quarters being played against those 2 SEC teams, I think it's going to be overshadowed because we're going to have some more success within the coming years. But we will be able to look back on some of these early games where it's like, damn, remember when we were first kind of rebuilding and clawing our way back in, and those fucking defenses where the week before Grant called it on the pod saying, you know what, I really want to see some strip sacks, or I want to see a pick that ends the game. Like, we haven't seen that kind of stuff. Then boom, the next week, that's how you beat Auburn on the road, right? Or
Polian's going to be our AD by that point.
Right, or a couple weeks earlier, like, damn, dude, our offensive line can't block shit. Like, how are we going to throw the ball if we have no running game? Boom, now we have a running game that it's starting to take rhythm. Like, we see issues, and we're seeing it be rebuilt brick by brick by brick. And these 2 victories, getting a W on the record book and not remembering or really like diving deep into how awful our offense has been playing. Like it's gonna come full circle is what I'm saying. Like these are really big victories.
I think we should make a mental note that when there's a couple weeks off before LSU is going to play in the playoff here in a couple years, we need to make a mental note to go back and watch this Auburn game, because it'll feel this game will be a perfect example of like, good God, look how far we've come. Remember when our offensive line still wasn't that good and we thought that they were getting better, and like, look at Will Campbell and these guys now. Like,
yeah, now we've got Campbell, you've got Zalance Hurd, you've got Fitzgerald West, you got Dellinger, you got Emory Jones, Tyree Adams, you got a 3rd-year Mason Taylor, you got Walker Howard, you got Trey Holly at running back, you got 2 5-star receivers with Sampson and Jalen, whatever the fuck his name is. I mean, like,
Hurts.
3 years into the program, like, you're going to be better. You're going to keep progressing. We're just in that rebuilding year where little victories, not just the W's, but the little victories of seeing progress at position groups and takeaways and just the attitude adjustment. Those are wins that you really need to celebrate as LSU fans this year. And I know rewatching that game and really being invested in the progression on a lot of these players right now, it's a really good thing to see. We fast forward to Tennessee, number 8, coming into LSU at 11 a.m. kick.
Yeah, the Vegas opening line was 3.5. A lot of places that's already moved down to under a field goal, and I think for the most part that was a little bit of a surprising line to people around the world. I thought it would be higher.
Over under set at 65.
That's what gets me. That's what gets me a little excited because it's like,
are they going to fucking beat the shit out of us? Because that doesn't line up with your spread.
No, this line and this total makes me think that Vegas believes, and I guess Vegas is all on the Jaden Daniels is 100% train. But that line shows me that they believe LSU is going to be able to score with Tennessee.
Right, and if that's the case, I do trust that our defense. Let me back up. Watching Tennessee, the biggest thing that stood out to me was their lack of physicality. They're extremely talented. Now, they're skill players. Wide receivers.
They have a little bit of that. They have a little bit of that Chip Kelly-ness that we're just going to play fast. We're going to wear you down, but like we don't really like getting physical.
Exactly. Their offensive line gets pushed around. Like whenever they have to step up and play that SEC style, we're going to knock you in the mouth every single series. They kind of crawfish a little bit. They kind of like, oh, I don't want to get hit. Like you can see the body language that they're kind of soft. Are they playmakers? Are they extremely fast? Is Hooker a legit Heisman contender type athlete? Yeah, like they're really good. But their defensive backs are suspect and they're weak, which I know that doesn't mean a lot to us right now today, but it's an opportunity.
Can we take advantage?
Exactly. Can we take advantage of it? It's an opportunity. Their defensive line is probably, in my opinion, the most physical part of their team. They do get a little rough up front in that D line. They can get a little physical. Other than that, very weak. Their O line, very weak. Our defensive front seven should push them around and force some throws, force Hooker out of the pocket. If we can force him on the move, he can run. Like he's very much like Jaden Daniels, where he'll book it and he'll get that first down.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to get by Harold Perkins a few times.
That's my thing. Is like let's force this cat out. Like keep him from, because if he starts launching it down the field, there's gonna be guys open. Like that's just how that. Like if this was a 7-on-7 matchup, like that's scary. Tennessee's that type of team. They're like a 7-on-7 type of team. But they're coming to us. They're coming to LSU, where LSU's defense right now is riding a massive high. Like that is our team. That is our program right now, is BJ Ojulari, Harold Perkins, and a plethora of defensive backs that have all rotated playmaking games.
That like to hit. Very physical. I think that we are going to pop them early in the mouth, and they're going to have to step up their game, and they will. I think we're going to get a Tennessee team that's going to have to, for the first time, be physical to win a football game. They beat Florida in spite of being physical. So I think that defensively, we do have our hands full with their passing attack, but we can be more physical than them. Offensively, if we can pull the trigger with Jaden Daniels, we will score points down the field. That's it. Like that. It's that simple. We can beat Tennessee. Will we? It really depends on our mistakes. Can we not shoot ourselves in the foot? Brian Kelly said it perfectly. Heart and effort will not beat Tennessee. That we're at a point now where this is the next step. You guys have figured out how to play as a unit, as a team, physically, and with heart and effort. Now you have to actually play football. Now you have to catch the ball. Now you have to actually perform like a 5-star. If we do that, we can beat Tennessee. Yeah, I mean, he said it perfectly. The days of winning games with heart, that part of our season's over. Like you're gonna have to show up and play. I think the defense will surprise people. You'll probably see the narrative of like, oh, Tennessee's offense couldn't get going early. That early kickoff kind of throws teams off. I really think it's just going to be that LSU's got a bunch of really good guys on defense. I may have to eat my words and they're going to throw all over us and look stupid, but I'm way more likely or way more confident in saying that, like, I'm anticipating a big day from the defense. The offense, it's like I'm in wait and see mode. Like, I'm done. I can't, like, with all honesty, like, in good faith, just tell you I'm confident the offense is gonna go sling it. I
No
think
one
that they're
can.
gonna have
No one
many
can.
opportunities against this Tennessee defense to do that, but it's like, you know, I said it last week, I haven't yet to watch this LSU team play more than 2 quarters, 2.5 quarters of a game. That's just not gonna cut it against Tennessee. We're gonna have to play pretty much a full game.
Yeah, they're a very talented team, like we said, and you're going to have to bring your A game. It is now time to. We can't stand at the podium and say, you know, we weren't prepared for this. We have to coach better. We have
They
to
showed us
execute.
looks that we weren't ready for, and
Yeah,
like,
like
yeah,
that's no, like we have played a talented Florida State team. Okay, they're not amazing, but they're a tough first out. We got that battle and we overcame a loss by flipping the script and running away now with 3 victories in a row, 4 victories in a row. We have
we'll call it 3.
right. Oh, we're putting up a picture of Big Orange Mac here. I love it. Thanks for the reminder. So, Big Orange Mac, for those that don't know, I know a lot of our loyal listeners know exactly who Big Orange Mac is, but if you're new to the
It
program,
always gives me a good chuckle whenever I see a comment to, like, a Big Orange Mac, tweet that is one of our guys. And
yeah,
they're, like, you know, commenting conversations like, "No, dude, do this." And I'm just like, "That's us. We
yeah,
made this
we
connection."
introduced that. But Big Orange Mac was a staple of my bachelor party trip. We took a trip up to the 2017 Tennessee LSU game in Knoxville. We stayed in the Smokies, drove in a big van with all the boys. We ran into this cat, Big Orange Mac, a big Tennessee fan, who is now going to be staying with or going to the game with Zombie Bob. So Zombie Bob was able to pull through some tickets. A Big Orange Max bringing his boys down, so he'll be there with Daniel and Jason Smith and Big Orange Max. So
I'm sad
kudos
for
to those
them.
guys
I'm sad for them it's the 11 AM kick.
for sure. That's brutal. That's brutal.
That's
What a day. I mean, like the whole schedule, like that's the one people look at for this season and circle like 50 times. Like beautiful, beautiful fall afternoon, tailgate all day, go into that crisp autumn night in Tiger Stadium. No, you got an 11 a.m., dew still on the ground. You're forcing Bloody Marys down the alcoholics' throats. You're just like, what am I going to do? You get a hangover in the second quarter. I hate it.
And the other 2 games are both double 20+ points spreads. Georgia Auburn's like 20 something, Bama A&M's 20 something. Like,
oh, I can't. I didn't even care if Georgia lost. Like, in the grand scheme of things, I wanted them to lose just so we could laugh at SEC on CBS for a couple days. It makes me sad.
But yeah, and it just shows you the SEC is the SEC. It's a tough conference, and any week, like you're gonna have those battles if you don't play your fucking A+ game. So Tennessee's gonna have to play their A game coming into Tiger Stadium. I think that's the point of this. It's like not only do we, but Tennessee does too.
Yeah, I think this is a bigger game for Tennessee than it is for LSU.
Yeah, they look at this as like, oh,
they
this could be a trap game.
They got to
You're
prove
damn right.
something. They got to
like if you're in the Tennessee world, like if you're the Tennessee fan, your motto is like we're catching LSU at one of the best times we could catch them. Like if you're this top 10 team, you go into Baton Rouge and you take care of business and you come home.
Yeah, but also
We'll
like
see.
if you look at it objectively as a Tennessee fan, you're probably like, damn, they're kind of catching their own now. They're getting some wind here. Thank God it's at 11 because usually they play better at night. But oh shit, statistics say otherwise. This could be a battle.
Yeah, I don't know. This to me feels like if just thinking about it as if like the roles were reversed, like we would think we're thinking of, you know, if the roles were reversed and we were the top 10 team going to play Tennessee, who is on the come up or whatever, it's like, well, you just go in and take care of business.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I think this is going to be an interesting game. They're going to have some pressure on them.
has to be an inkling of the last time they played in Tiger Stadium.
Shout out
to Tiger Droppings, man. Big
no, there has to be some thought in the back of the fans' heads the last time they were here. I mean, what a catastrophe for them, and what an unbelievable moment for us. I mean, what a Jordan Jefferson 70-something yard touchdown run was basically the ball game. Until the end.
Player of the game.
Seeing Tennessee on the schedule just makes me it just reminds me of how much I wish this game happened more often. Whenever OU and Texas come in, let's blow up the SEC and figure out a way to have all these teams play each other more often.
Like PFT said, it's the best orange. I love Tennessee's orange.
I'm out on Tennessee's colors. I think they're wearing the gray. Was that someone in here that sent that?
No, but I saw that on Twitter.
Which, come on, man, you're playing LSU. Let's go tradish.
Yeah, I think it was 69mega.com. They hit us.
Only Putin.
Yeah, onlyputin.com, OnlyFans. They let us know about the get that out of here.
It feels good to get the bots in the chat. It feels good to have some bots in the chat.
That means you're making it. If you have bots in the chat, that means you're big time.
Oh, is that what that means?
Dude, for LSU to beat Tennessee, we can't have a million penalties. We can't have every time something happens on special teams, it gets called back. We just need to play a clean game.
It's not just the penalties. It's the timing of those penalties. They're always so inopportune. They're the minute there's a momentum shift, or the minute there's a nice return, or the minute field position is flipped, it's oh wait, nope, back it up. You got another challenge.
It's expected. It's anticipated now.
Yes, and now you remember
Bash has played in 2 games, and he's leading in yards that didn't count.
Remember we discussed this, where our next test is going to be one of those mental games where can this team keep falling behind and shooting themselves in the foot and then overcome that in those drives. We started to do that. And I feel like that is now the next step, where we have to understand, not only are we able to climb ourselves back out of it, but we need to fix getting in that situation to begin with. Because if we do that, we can double the amount of points that we're scoring. We've seen that we can do it even in the hole. Let's start outside of that hole and let's see how good this team can be. And I think
come in the hole.
Yeah, then let's come in the hole. Not muffin it.
No, never. Look, and just to kind of, on top of that, this coaching staff needs to realize that they need to be in Nussmeier's ear. Dude, you're going to play. If this is what it's going to be, and this guy's going to have to run 15, 18 times a game, you will get opportunities. And my expert lip reading was Brian Kelly telling him to grow the fuck up. And it's that couldn't have made me happier to see of him getting in his ass off the sidelines. Let's not float this ball out of bounds. Let's go get one.
Yeah,
if that's not the case, then throw Walker Howard in there.
Oh man, I can't wait to see Walker Howard. It's not going to happen this season, but I can't wait to see Walker Howard.
Maybe against UAB.
But it's so nice to see a coach say something like that. Right out of the gate. The kid's probably shitting his pants. He wants a nice blind fucking little golf clap, or a little less miles,
hey,
or
okay,
Edwards run. We're gonna go, it'll be okay. No, grow the fuck up. Come on, dude. What is this? You're an LSU quarterback. You got receivers all over the place. You're at Auburn. You didn't win the job. Here's your opportunity to fucking take it. Grow the fuck up. Take it. Brian Kelly wants him to fucking take it.
Yeah,
but he won't do it.
And as expected, he did take the coaching. He didn't back talk, and he went back out there.
Yeah, he's a coach's son, lunch pail.
Right, he's a coach.
I think you made a good point of I think at this point, Brian Kelly just wants someone to go fucking take it. I want someone to be able to take that shot, be able to push the ball. I don't care who it is at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what was probably so frustrating about Nussmeier throwing that ball like that. He was just okay, let's see if this kid's got the balls. Oh, yep, of course.
No, first read's not open, throw it away. Sick. Awesome.
Yeah, so that's he lost his fucking cool. He's God damn it, dude, grow the fuck up. And then you saw him after, when they were about to cut to commercial break, he was going up to him, clap, and be let's fucking go, man. Let's go. You got this. And that's what I like about Brian Kelly, though, man. He's so involved with this football team in game and adjustments and understanding where we are at in the game with time management and just everything like that. That's why I know that this offensive situation is being looked at. Like, I think we as fans have been so used to having to explain the issues to the coach, where like our coach understands the issue. He is well aware that this offensive passing game is not at all up to par. When are we going to fix it? And I think that's the frustrating thing, is you've seen everything get fixed each week that has some type of black eye. The offensive passing game has just truly not turned the corner. Maybe Vegas knows. Maybe Vegas sees that same thing. It's like, you know what? The only thing that's missing is this LSU passing attack. It's going to happen. These receivers have done it before. It's all about the quarterback having trust to let it rip. And that honestly is something that Jaden Daniels has to do on his own. And with the encouragement,
there's gonna be at least one quarterback in Tiger Stadium on Saturday that's willing to let it rip, and I'm hoping it's two. But Hooker's gonna let it sling.
Hooker slings it. That dude is that. Like I said, 7-on-7. These cats will be dangerous. Like if you're not pressuring him and he's got time, he can put it anywhere. He can put it anywhere.
Slinging it just like he's on a street corner.
All right.
As a hooker.
I thought you meant crack.
And what else do I tried to skim your notes just now to see if there was anything.
I don't think we
jumping out.
There were some pretty interesting games over the weekend.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about those games.
Yeah,
North Carolina State, Clemson. Clemson turns out to be a decent squad.
They're lined up for the playoffs like no one else.
Yeah. I mean, and
that's what y'all were saying. Yeah,
that's what we were saying, is that everybody's freaking out as they won 10 games last year instead of 12, and that we need to fucking kick Clemson to the curb in our predictions. It's like, no, dude. DJ Uyunglele was neck and neck with Bryce Young as the best player coming out of high school. Like, he's going to turn the corner eventually.
Clemson isn't as convincing as they were in 2019 or the years before that. But
no.
But they're still right there, because no one else in the league this year is like those teams either. Bama and Georgia are not them. You know, I mean, they're good.
Is way more human than they were 5 years ago.
Correct.
For sure.
Yeah,
I think everyone's human.
They're playing well
year.
Coached. I mean, no, a lot of teams are playing really well. I think a lot of teams are playing good football, and that is good to see coming off of like 2 years post-COVID, is that we're now seeing like coaching and development starting to like get back in place, and you're seeing good football. You're not seeing just fucking blowouts every week of disadvantaged or unequal coaching platforms.
Yeah. Really the day started with Kentucky Ole Miss, which I feel like you probably feel the same way. Wasn't really impressed with either of those teams.
Right.
Like, after watching that game, obviously Ole Miss will get better, LSU will get better. It just gave me a lot more confidence in LSU being able to snag a game against Ole Miss.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I think Ole Miss is right where I thought they were. I felt like Ole Miss's schedule really lined up for them to get a lot of hype going into like mid-season, because they haven't really played anybody. And look, we're kind of, I mean, we've made Kentucky out to be this really good team, and that catapults Ole Miss into being an even better program now. But they're right where I expected them to be. They can be dangerous on offense with a transfer quarterback. Their defense is still suspect, in my opinion. But they're bound to do something stupid and lose games that they shouldn't lose. And my fingers are crossed and hoping that's us.
It is kind of weird to see, and I mean, I don't know, what are they, maybe 10 now, but to see like a 5-0 SEC team kind of so low in the rankings, it's just kind of weird to look at. It almost makes you think like Ole Miss.
They haven't played
5-0 at 4. No, I get it. It's just it just feels like when you see an Ole Miss or an SEC team at 15, you're like, oh yeah, they probably dropped a game early.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the punishment for losing in the SEC, it's not fair. Like, I was kind of looking at it with LSU just now, starting off at 25 now this week. It's like, okay, so let's say we beat Tennessee. So that would probably put us, I would guess like 10 spots. I would say 15, 16 maybe. Like that's where
no higher than 15, unless we destroy them.
No, but I mean that's a big victory after the body of work that we have shown since the Florida State 1-point loss. I think a top 15 team. I think that's a valid ranking based on who's in front of you and who's behind you. But
Florida State really screwed themselves.
But then, like, if you lose a close game on the road at Florida, like you're back probably out of thing like that. And I think that's the problem. It's like they don't take into account everything. And so you're right. Like an Ole Miss
we need some people like, I don't know, just picking names out of thin air, like Condoleezza Rice or Barry Alvarez, to really figure out who the top teams in the country are week in and week out.
At the end, but give them the season to really pay attention.
Well, they usually the college football playoff committee gets, I mean, 1 through 6 or 8 is whatever, but the committee usually puts like they have different polls than AP and the coaches. Like it's pretty differing in the years past. But it is,
these people aren't fucking grinding the Baylor Oklahoma game in week 8. Like
I hope not.
Yeah, I hope they aren't. But it's like for them to just decide, like, no, Washington's 15. Like, let's take a straw poll of who's fucking watched Washington this year.
It's absurd. That's Michigan just like State, I don't like thinking about that kind of stuff because it just makes me feel like, what am I doing?
Well, yeah, dude, it makes you feel, it's like almost like following politics. It's like, what am I doing? Because I'm going to spend time, nothing's going to fucking change, and it's all like wrong, and I don't believe any of it.
Oh, Bama's in? Nice.
Mississippi State jumped us. They're like 23. They're 23 in the poll this week.
Yeah, and they're still, it's because they beat fucking A&M. It's like
we're still giving A&M credit. Like,
A&M has weight. Like, what weight does A&M hold?
No. And I understand the Florida State fans are like, wait, we're not ranked anymore. We lost to the team that was 1 point better than us.
I thought Florida State, Wake Forest is a decent team. That's what
they are.
Like.
No, they are. But Florida State has, I think, gotten by the skin of their team. But
anyway, going back to this slated game.
Go back to it. Also, what happened at 11 a.m. is TCU absolutely fucking boat racing OU.
I did not see that coming. I did not see a boat race.
We were kind of different. Grant was asking picks, and I was like, I don't know. I like TCU. I'm just not sure on OU. And you're like, I'm feeling Oklahoma. I was like, I don't know. And
I didn't even look at yours. I put in mine, and then when I saw, like, typically I can read you pretty well based on your likes. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And then I went back.
I just hated your games. I hated them. I hated most everyone.
I didn't, but like none of them you picked other than that one.
No, I know. I know. I agree. No, it was jarring. Like I liked TCU in that game. I didn't think it was going to be 55-24.
And it wasn't even that close, really.
Oklahoma looked really good up until that point. I really thought the loss the week before was not a fluke, but just like, hey, they ran into a fucking really good team and they didn't play well, and they're going to rebound and take it out on TCU. I didn't see that shit coming.
Also, like, everyone needs to calm it down on some K-State Adrian Martinez takes, because
that's
they're
my
like,
guy, dude.
He's playing out of control. It's like, one, they lost to Tulane like 10 days ago.
Yeah.
That's why they're not up here. That's why that game isn't up here.
This guy will let you down at some point. Like, this happens every time where this dude's like, oh man, this dude's awesome. And I hope it's just that Scott Frost sucked. And like, maybe, I'd love to see K-State make a run, whatever, but let's hold and see what we get out of this dude before we're starting to like call him comeback kid of the year. That's all I'm saying.
No, but I think that's just the Big 12's way of being like, hey, we're here. Like, that's just that. That's what that's about.
Well, and TCU's obviously a really good team. Kansas 5-0.
The team that's here is
good. But Oklahoma State, like, man, Oklahoma State just keeps winning
every year.
Yeah, they do. And like, I there's something about Oklahoma State I don't like as a program. Like,
it's the Gundy OAN shirt is what I'm guessing.
It's the orange and black. It's Gundy's hair. It's just, and they never actually pull through. Honestly,
they don't do anything. They haven't made
still not over 2011. It's just like, you guys never fucking pull it out. And it's just, I'm sick of y'all having all this hype in the Big 12. And usually it's like clockwork. It's always like the second half of the season. You're like, Oklahoma State, like that's going to be the Cinderella that busts through. And it's like, oh, well, they lost to Baylor.
They lost to OU by 30.
Yeah. It's just like, that's right. They're not that good.
No, they're going to end up losing like Kansas or something. And we're going to be like, wow.
They lost
for Kansas.
Kansas makes the playoff before Oklahoma State.
No. You know, who's another sneaky team is UCLA.
Sneaky. I watched them the other night, Friday. They cost me.
Alabama, Arkansas. Bryce Young goes down. And
Arkansas was alive for about 10 minutes there.
10 minutes. Fake field. No, the onside kick. Listen, I thought Arkansas would keep it closer, especially after Bryce Young went down. I am not impressed with Arkansas anymore. And it's not just because of Alabama, but it's the body of work up until this point. I feel like they are very hot and cold. When they're cold, they're really bad. Like KJ Jefferson just turns it off. When they're on, they look good. Not great. They look good. When they're off, though, anyone can beat them.
The Cincinnati game was kind of a red flag to me. Watching it, it was such a like blow to blow, like, oh my God, like what a physical game. It's like, that's true. And I know Cincinnati played in the playoff last year, but it shouldn't, this shouldn't really be this game. Like, Arkansas should kind of be able to throw this sucker in neutral and coast this thing out, and that's not what happened. True. So I've been kind of thinking, keeping my eye on that, and also I'm just tired of betting against Bama going on the road, being like, oh, I think it's going to be a tough game, and then Bama just does what Bama's done for a decade and just suffocates.
Well, no, to be fair, their road SEC games have been like that's where they've lost.
It's swung for sure,
like, very close. So the betting wise, there is a little bit of history there. That's why I thought the 17 was like, this is a possibility.
And Arkansas had a good chance. Had every chance to cover that game throughout. I'm not saying that. It's just, and like you said, Bama does lose on the road, but it's just, and it's at least a few years ago, it felt a little different, but it's just one of those things where a lot of times Bama just walks into your stadium and beats the shit out of you, and there's nothing you can do. That's the nature of the beast.
Yeah, and it's actually happened to us a lot. And I think
exactly.
Just like as LSU fans, we're just like, I don't want to put money on the other end here. I might as well save my money or just bet Bama. But yeah, true. Our Arkansas, not truly impressed. Also, like, does Bama not have a backup quarterback? Like, I know the dude had like a crazy run, but like this is a running back, right? He just can sling it a little bit.
I think Jared boy can sling it. I don't know. I wasn't like super locked into that game whenever he came in because I felt like the game was over. But no, I think he's supposed to be a good passer.
Yeah, we'll see. Mississippi State, Texas A&M. Again, how long are we gonna A&M? I mean, dude, like that. You're looking at 6-6, 7-5.
Well, and Jimbo with an all-timer in the post game. Like, no, the offense is great. The guys are open. Everything's there. Well, then why can't y'all score? They just can't get it done.
Dude, I've been listening to a lot of stuff about how like it's not. Wait, what was the comment I read? It's not about the money to get rid of them. They're trying to get enough money to get a home run replacement. It's like, okay,
Saban,
gotcha. We're gonna do this again. We're gonna fucking do this again. A&M. If it didn't work with Jimbo and buying the best class in history, it's not gonna work.
Yeah. What's Sumlin up to these days?
Pretty much still coaching A&M.
No. What a Mississippi. A&M, man.
Good for Mississippi State.
Good win for Mississippi State.
I was scared to come out and take Mississippi State, even though it felt like the right side. I was a little hesitant because it just feels like in the history of us watching Mississippi State, like they have that team where like, oh, this team's pretty solid. They should be able to like get a win here. And then they just fall flat on their face. And this team like went and got it done. So good for them. Grant, any other games that we missed?
I was going to say one team that that's interesting is Penn State. I know they haven't been tested.
I haven't been paying too much attention. What are your thoughts?
Same.
I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know what to
they
think
have
about
a
them
big game coming up, right? Ohio State.
Is it this week?
I think that's the week 7. I think that's week 7 Cumfest.
Can we look ahead to week 6 here?
Yeah, let's go to week 6.
I mean, we got some games. This is another week where there's at least 2 games, I think, in every time slot that you want to keep an eye on.
Well, we know we start off with LSU at 11 o'clock. So, I mean, bacon and eggs and a side of volunteer toast.
Mimosas?
That wasn't good at all.
It was brutal.
Yeah, that was tough. I had nothing, dude. I had really nothing. I was hoping like somebody jumped in and cut me off.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out.
Grant, are you pulling up week 6, bro?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
We're
all this streaming's really bogging me down. Let's see.
Oh, nice.
Let's just go through. I'm just gonna keep clicking through these.
God, Perkins looks such like a dog. Yeah, this is just pictures from the Auburn game.
Yeah, we're done. We're done, Grant. Like whenever you're ready, we can go back into week 6, but we're just killing time here with the boys at this point.
Are we really looking up week 6 or?
Yeah, no, I am. It's just the stream.
Because you look, I know your arms don't look like they're doing anything. That's what I was looking at you.
It just doesn't look like your hands are doing anything. Is all.
Yeah, we're getting there. Doesn't that guy in the background look like Scotty Scheffler a little bit? Like not
a little bit.
Yeah, like not as the zoomed in version, but I guess it's just like the hat.
All right.
All right. So for all the majority of our listeners that are listening audio, we're looking up week 6, and we found it. Man, it's a little hard to see, but we got it.
TCU, Kansas, Missouri,
TCU,
Florida,
Kansas. Yeah, TCU, Kansas, and LSU, Tennessee at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, we get Red River going up against LSU, Tennessee.
Oh God, OU, Texas. Remember that one. I think Ewers is back for that.
I think Ewers might be back this week.
That's what I'm saying.
This is OU, Texas. You're right. I was thinking we were 1 week ahead looking at the schedule.
Oh no, dude, that's week 7 Cumtown. We're not going there yet. Great podcast.
Great pod.
Have you ever been to Cumtown?
No.
It's right outside of Raleigh.
Mad. Yeah, dude. So many aunts and uncles and grandparents are gonna be like, "God damn it!
What?
Are y'all cursing?
UTL,
you'll just talk about semen all day.
Cumtown? I looked it up. Love the pod.
Yeah, thanks for the recommendation, Grant.
Utah, UCLA.
That's a good game.
It's an interesting game. That's a very interesting game.
Now, I hate that we just beat Auburn the week before they play Georgia because I'm less interested because I know who Auburn is now. But like traditionally, that's a really fun game to watch. Simply being, it's a good color combo. I really like the Georgia-Auburn contrast.
It's a great game.
It's a good game. It's a good SEC game. I think of like good running backs and linebackers.
Yeah, it feels like Auburn knew that their chance was to beat LSU and not Georgia, so they threw everything at us this week.
Yeah,
I am a little disappointed. I was locked into Twitter today, waiting for Harsin to get fired. I'm a little disappointed.
How about Christ? That's how you say it, right? He gone.
Yes,
Paul Christ.
The passion of. Yeah, he's gone. He's catching a nice little $11 million check on the way out.
All right,
so here's your 230.
Hold on.
Miami.
Let's summarize. All right, so your 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock slate is going to be Tennessee, LSU, and you also have to be paying attention to
OU, Texas.
OU, Texas, and TCU,
you honestly,
Kansas.
Dude, you Missouri have to keep an eye on. You have to keep an eye on TCU, Kansas.
You have to FS1. Yes. You get it on YouTube TV. Can we discuss Sling TV real quick? Fuck you.
Oh man. I wake up
Sling.
I wake up to Mike just in an absolute panic because
I rolled
ESPN
out of bed
has been dropped
early. Like I'm talking like I cranked on that TV early, and I'm talking East Coast early. Turn this TV on. You know how whenever you're in kind of that daze of like late night, early morning where you're just like either something's wrong with my TV or I am not awake enough to figure out where ESPN is for some reason. Like that's where I was at, almost
I've
as
looked
if
at this guide 1,000 times. I
yeah,
know it's here.
exactly. It's like it's here somewhere. It's only like a handful of options. I got Sling Orange, you know. It's like it's not that hard to find. It's the reason I have Sling Orange. But it's that same mindset of like, is this a replay of a game or is this year? Like I can't like it was one of those mindsets. And then I think I messaged you guys, and then I realized like, oh, it's like 8 a.m. and they're not up yet. It's Saturday morning. And then I go on Twitter and I found the announcement, and it was like happening that minute. So I'm like, I'm gonna fire off some fucking outrageous tweets voicing my frustration. And
no one's awake to see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people were.
Oh, it got rolling. Because everybody was waking up with me, getting ready for like game day and stuff. And it's like, oh no, you're going to have to fucking put your credit card on file for a new service, get all this shit started back up. And I canceled Sling. They're done.
There is nothing worse than like thinking you're going to settle in for a full day of watching TV and then the TV not working.
Yeah, it's bad. It's a panic, but you also kick into overdrive. You're just like, all right, what are my options? So I need to go to Best Buy and get a new fucking HDMI. Do I need to like you just start going through the options of like what you have to do before lunch.
So I was like,
back
oh,
to the
wow.
slate. Yo,
No, so the Sling came back today, by the way. Before I'm not canceling it because I paid for till October 22nd. So I'm just gonna keep it and use it, I guess, whenever. But it's back today. It's all back and ready.
No, I mean I canceled it and I have it through October, whatever, too.
Yeah. So here's what happened. I had my dad's ESPN login because he has like Cox actual cable.
Whoa. Please watch your language on this podcast.
Right. Cox.
Big Cox. Big Cox guy. My dad's a big Cox guy. So anyway, he's with my brother on a vacation in Gulf Shores. And so that condo had Dish Network. So my brother texted me. He's like, "Hey, do you have a login so we can watch the game?" I was like, "Well, why don't you just use yours or Dad's or whatever?" I was like, "I'm using Dad's because Sling canceled me too." He's like, "Oh, okay, cool." So we're both watching the games off of my dad's feed, and then all of a sudden, I pull my computer up to like simulcast.
Are we just getting a rundown of how you watch the game?
No,
what'd you have for breakfast?
I log in on my computer to watch the Sky Cam as I'm watching the live version of the game.
Then I got the spatula.
Then my brother calls and he's like, "Hey, it just kissed out of the game. Dad's freaking out. He spilled his beer all over the condo. Everyone's losing their minds." And I'm like, "No." I was like, I don't know what happened. And he's like, "Did you give it out to one of your friends?" I was like, "No."
Is it Mike?
He's like, "Well, it says we maxed out the number of streams, and Dad said he paid for it, and all that." And I'm like, okay.
So meanwhile, you're sitting there just beating off the fucking HBO.
No, and so mine got kicked off too, and I'm like, "Well, Blake, I'm kicked out too." Like, and I was like, "Look, I think I know what happened. I'm just gonna close out everything." I was like, "Try it again," and it came back up, and he's like, and so I talked to him yesterday. He's like, "Dude, you're lucky." He's like, "Dad literally was about to lose his mind. He'd spilt his beer everywhere. Mom was
I can't.
out.
But what does that image look like? Like the TV goes black, and like how does
the
beer...
it said the TV goes black, and it's like you've reached the maximum number of streams.
Grant's friends.
Grant gave my password to everybody.
So just to kind of bookend that, because you reminded me, the Sky Cam on ESPN is a solid minute and a half behind, like even the delay of YouTube TV. It's unwatchable. I put it on second screen, like, oh, this is gonna be perfect for replays, getting a different look. It's on like so much shit's happened in the game by the time like you see whatever.
I forgot if it was you or Grant, but somebody was behind me because like my comments weren't hitting in time. I was like, I'd say something and like no one would respond. I was like, oh, they're not there yet, or I'm behind. I don't know what was going on.
It's brutal. I have to do it to save the money because I watch no TV. But the lag of streaming versus like Twitter and like online live betting, it's brutal. It's so hard to take.
Fast forward to your 2:30 slate. What you got, Grant?
I was gonna say the online betting. How are they able to keep? Like, how is it so instantaneous? There's no website that has the score, that has the game cast that fast. There's no games that fast that you can watch. So it blows my mind how they're so quick to lock it, change it. Anyway,
make a lot of money doing it.
Yeah, except for last night, Leonard Fournette made everyone a lot of money. I'll tell you that.
All right, 2:30 window. You have
Georgia, Auburn at Georgia, between the hedges, 2:30 CBS. Should be a rough house, a little bit of a rough house game for a little bit, but I see Georgia running away with that. Traditional rivals, not a game. I like it. I like it though. I like the game, but you're gonna have to flip to it. But it's not the one you really want to zone in on. UCLA, Utah, probably going to be a nice game there. If Utah beats UCLA, we're going to get the Utah hype again. And I believe they play USC the following week. Maybe.
I think that's right.
So that's setting up to be a pretty big matchup the following week. Another week 7 just guzzler. And then let's see, any other 2:30s? 3 o'clock, Ohio State, Michigan State could be one of those like, oh shit, can Michigan State get a little action here? Don't buy it.
Yeah, I'm not buying it.
Other than
North Carolina, I think UNC Miami would be a fun game to watch. I don't know that you're going to be locked into it. Maybe throw a little bet on it to keep it interesting.
What's the night game? What's our capper?
I mean, you got Bama. A&M.
Oh, it's Bama A&M. They figured A&M would be.
Don't sleep on Washington State at USC. That could be.
I'm not sleeping on that. I'm not sleeping on that.
No, don't tell me not to sleep on it.
I'm in on that game.
BYU at Notre Dame. Notre Dame is sneaky.
Florida State, North Carolina State. That's actually
an interesting game that no one's gonna. Not many people are gonna watch.
Yeah, should be decent. But A&M, Alabama, like I can't wait to watch them just crush A&M.
This is definitely a calm before the storm week.
It's a good week. It's a good week.
It's two good betting games. Oregon at Arizona, Fresno State at Boise.
Yeah, Mitchapalooza is coming next week. Like this.
Go to week 7 real quick and just give us like a quick tease.
Just tickle. Week 7.
Just like 10 seconds real quick of scrolling slow. Just a quick slow scroll.
Slow it down.
Oh yeah.
This is Cox Internet.
The stream, man. This is a powerful stream.
That's what we have named USC's running back. His last name is Tal.
We have a UL Wednesday.
No. Just a quick scroll for week 7.
No, yeah, we're not. Look, we're not stopping UL Marshall. Keep it rolling.
Yeah, quick scroll. Alabama, Tennessee, Penn State, Michigan, USC, Utah. I mean, whoa, what happened?
It's
reloaded on them.
Look at those first 3 games.
Well, we don't have a time slot
yet. Sorry. Keep going. Kansas, Oklahoma.
Probably 2:30.
Quick scroll.
Yeah, keep going. There's more. There's
Auburn, Ole Miss.
Kansas, Oklahoma.
Colgate Army.
There's more. Keep going.
Oklahoma State, TCU.
Yep.
Syracuse, sneaky team. That's another team we didn't talk about. Sneaky.
Why the fuck Arkansas scheduled Cincinnati and BYU is kind of mind blowing.
Very dumb.
Like, what are we doing
in the middle of the season?
Let's
find the best white schools we can try to play.
Keep going, boss. LSU, Florida, Clemson, Florida State,
Mississippi State, Kentucky,
Notre Dame, Stanford. I mean, just a massive
Duke, UNC.
Dude, in Nevada at Hawaii at 11 p.m.
All right, get out of it. Get out of it in the pod.
Yeah, hit us up on Twitter and all that other fun stuff. If you're still with us, you already know. I got nothing. I'm ready to end it.
Great pod, boys. Over and out.